This opening a restaurant was basically my dream since I was 21. Imanishi opened up in 2015, November. The 28th will be our 8th-year anniversary. The original goal when we started Imanishi was there's just so much more Japanese cooking, styles of cooking that need to be put out there instead of just like all the northern bastardized Japanese food. Doing Japanese home-style cooking and educating people that there's more than just those things is what our basically goal was. The Imanishi concept came from Japanese izakayas, American pubs, Japanese SHOKUDŌ, which is equivalent to a Japanese diner. Actually, the ramen is not my creation. It is a Nagoya dish, but the original name was called Taiwan ramen. There's a ramen that was made in a Taiwanese restaurant that became so popular as a staff meal in Nagoya that every other restaurant started making it. That became a Taiwan ramen. I brought that to Toronto and at Imanishi, but I felt that if I renamed it to Nagoya ramen, it'd be easier. Instead of calling it Taiwan ramen, everybody asking me like, why is it Taiwanese? And having to explain to them every single time. Nagoya ramen, it's very simple. The base of the soup is with garlic, dried chilies, tobanjang, which is like a Chinese chili paste, the ground beef and ground pork that's sauteed, chicken broth, spices, ginger, and that's basically it. Been cooking for 22 years. Started off my career in Vancouver, BC. I worked at sushi restaurants and Japanese izakayas for my early teens and early 20s. And then moved to Japan for 3 years, where I worked at fine dining Japanese restaurants to casual to local pubs. Or moved back to Vancouver for another 3 years, and then to Toronto. After 3 years of moving to Toronto, I opened up Imanishi. The atmosphere, the vibe that comes from the people in there, the vibe that comes from the servers. That basically in Japanese we call it kakki. And kakki basically means the ambiance that is born from the kitchen, the front of house, the bantering back and forth, the customers drinking cheers, you know, yelling. Yeah. Crunchy ribs, so the pork back ribs, we lightly flash fry them. And then we braise them for 3 hours. We let them sit in their own jus overnight to let the moisture and juices kind of come back into the pork. And then before service or serving them, we flour them in potato starch. fry them. And then pan sear them with the balsamic soy sauce. Karashi ribs wasn't particularly my recipe, but I worked at several restaurants and I took bits and pieces from each place I worked at and kind of combined it all. But what makes it so good is, I think it's the rich flavors, how delicate yet crispy the meat is that makes it so good. Tokyo Toast 2 was actually very randomly made. Because we were doing sandos specials at the restaurant, and we get fresh bread, made from the sandos, but we'd always have loads of bread left over, and we only want to use the freshest for sandos. So whatever we had left, I'd freeze them. And it got to the point where our freezer was getting stocked up with a lot of day-old or 2-day-old bread that I had to find a use for it. And deep frying bread in Japan isn't too uncommon. We use already those for desserts here and there, and I thought I could repurpose that into making a dessert. And at the time we only had taro ice cream on our dessert menu, so I combined the two and topped it off with the soba tea, and the rest is history. Very solid team, it's for sure, very family oriented. Fun of house. A lot of the servers that are here, they're not Japanese. They're just as or even more knowledgeable about Japanese food, sake, than maybe your typical Japanese person. Kitchen team is really hardworking, very talented, very consistent with the work they do. What we've achieved up until now is more than I ever had imagined, that we would become this well accepted and supported in the city of Toronto. How popular this became and how much of locals talk about Imanishi, and not even that, just hearing about friends from other cities, and not just in Toronto or Canada, but just even in the States or from different countries being like, oh yeah, we heard about Imanishi, and hearing that is crazy. I never really imagined to be that popular. I thought it'd just be, small, humble little restaurant, Izakaya in Toronto. It's a very chill, casual place that people just want to come hang out. You can come alone, you can come with the group, but at the end of the day, come once, and the second time, third time you're here, you're a regular. Imanishi is my last name. My name is Shori Imanishi.